Hey friends, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade team for September week 3. All month long we have been learning the virtue of trust, putting your confidence in someone you can depend on. And our memory verse for this month goes along perfectly with that virtue. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. And what's cool is that we've been talking about that verse in adult church too, so I love that. So jumping over to our Bible timeline, crazy how big it's getting. We talked way back in the beginning of August that the Bible is all about loving God and loving others. We moved on to creation, the fall, God choosing Abraham and Sarah having Isaac when they were very, very old. Last week we talked about Isaac's wells and how he could trust God no matter what. Well, this week we move on. Isaac marries a woman named Rebecca, and Isaac and Rebecca have twins, Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau came out of the womb fighting, and Esau was actually the older brother. Esau was hairy and had red hair. And Esau liked to go hunt. Jacob really stayed close to Rebecca and learned how to cook. Well, when Isaac was very, very old, he went to go give his birthright to and pass down his blessing to Esau. Well, Rebecca wanted Jacob to have the blessing. So she put some hairy furs on Jacob's arms because Isaac couldn't see well. And Rebecca and Jacob tricked Isaac into thinking that Jacob was Esau. And so Isaac gave his blessing to his son Jacob instead of the oldest son, Esau. Well, that of course made Esau very mad when he did not receive his father's blessing. So Jacob ran away, and when he ran away, he ended up falling asleep and having a dream. So you can see here, he is dreaming, and God still tells him that he is going to carry on his promise that he made to Abraham through Jacob now. So that's why a lot of times in the Bible we hear Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It should have been Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, but Jacob carried on the blessing, and eventually Jesus would come from this line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So this week, our bottom line is that we learn that you can trust that God always has a plan. So trust that God always has a plan, because even though Jacob was kind of sneaky and stole Esau's birthright, God still had a plan. And I marked all of your action Bibles. You can read this. Here's when Jacob tricked Esau into giving up his birthright. And then they go and steal the blessing from Isaac. So this talks about that. Then it shows how Esau is so mad that Jacob stole his blessing. So Jacob runs away. Here we can see that he falls asleep. And this is his dream that he has. So if you'd like to, if your kids like that, they can read that in the Action Bible. All right, jumping into our leader guide, we'd love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage door room for coffee, donuts, and prayer. Then just make sure that you're to your small group by 8:30 and 10:30. I've got a little note for you here. When kids start to roll in at 8:40 and 10:40, they can do their little coloring page that this week looks like this. The back side is a devotional that they can take home. Also, just make sure that every kid gets their parent cue for this week, and I've got memory verse stickers on your carts if they did not get a memory verse sticker for the month yet. So then when service starts at 9 and 11, if kids would like to, in your buckets here, I have these little plans that show kids how to draw a house in a blank piece of paper. So they would follow the plan to draw the house, and then if they have time, they can color the plan in. And so what you're going to do is you can close by saying, so we had a plan that helped us make these houses. You trusted the plan, you followed it, and now look how great your house turned out. Did you know that God has a plan for each of us? We can't see it the way we see that plan for making a house, but we can still trust it. We can discover God's plans when we learn what's in the Bible. So we're going to go to large group and hear about how someone trusted God's plan even though they didn't know everything that God would do. So then at 10 after, you will head over to large group. When you get back from large group, you can give your kids a snack, goldfish. While they're eating their snack, you can give them their trust journals. I have some blank ones on your carts, but kids have been filling these out every week. So they've already done weeks 1 and 2. So this week, teach me to trust you with the blank you have for my life. And you are going to work together to help them fill out the word plan with the plans you have for my life. And then you can close down in prayer. You can ask kids if they have any prayer requests, and you can close down in prayer. You can also give kids time to decorate their trust journals while they're eating their snack. Then as they're finishing up their snack, you can practice the memory verse. So you can show them how to look up Proverbs 3:5 in their Bible. And you can practice the memory verse with motions. And then really help the kids understand the word trust. That's putting your confidence in someone you can depend on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to line up these 3 buckets. I forgot to bring them in here to show you. And you're just going to do like a little beanbag toss. So if you have kids, you know, stand right here, you can put one closer, a little bit further, and you're going to give each kid a chance to throw the beanbag. If they make it in one of the buckets, everyone says the verse together, and just like a fun little carnival game, since that's kind of our theme. Then to close out the morning, we have a little review game. What you've got on the bottom of your cart, you've got these story cards. There are 13 of them. So if you have fewer than 13 kids, you can combine with another group, or you can put like 2 cards that are in sequence on the same kid's back. And what they're going to try to do is they are not going to know what card is on their back, but they're going to try to line up in order of the story. Now, this is challenging because this story doesn't necessarily follow a linear storyline. So after you give them a while to try to figure it out, here is the correct order. You can kind of like say, oh, you know, these 3 people aren't in the right place, and see if they can still figure it out. And then you can just close by saying, would Jacob be someone that you would trust? And not really. He kind of like stole his birthright from his brother and like totally tricked his dad. Well, even though Jacob messed up, God kept the promise he made to Jacob's grandpa, Abraham. God told Jacob, and you can read this whole little thing from Genesis 28. I'm not going to read it to you. And God promised Jacob's grandpa that the whole world would be blessed through his family, and God kept that promise because one of Jacob's descendants was Jesus. That is so cool, and that is just more proof that you can trust that God has a plan. So that is it for this week, guys. I will have tape on all of your carts for that last activity. I will have beanbags and buckets for you guys, and thank you guys for serving. I love you all so much. I'm so grateful for you, and we'll see you on Sunday.